Our anniversary dinner was a picture of bliss until my wife collapsed, her terrifying whisper revealing we weren't just sick, we were trapped, and someone sinister was waiting beyond our door. The aroma of garlic and rosemary still hung in the air, a ghost of the perfect anniversary dinner I'd just cooked. Chloe was laughing, her head tilted back, the candlelight dancing in her eyes. It was our 5th year together, and I'd pulled out all the stops: seared scallops, filet mignon, a bottle of wine that cost more than our electric bill. She'd loved every second of it, telling me between bites that I was spoiling her, that this was the best meal she'd ever had. I felt like the king of the world watching her across our small dining table, so impossibly beautiful and so completely mine. That feeling, that perfect warm bubble of happiness, lasted for another 10 minutes. It popped when she excused herself to go to the bathroom. I started clearing the plates, humming to myself, when I heard a thud. Not a loud crash, just a dull, heavy sound. "Chloe," I called out, "everything okay in there?" Silence. My heart gave a nervous little flutter. "Honey?" I walked to the bathroom door and knocked. "You all right?" A weak, muffled voice came from the other side. I don't feel so good, Mark." I twisted the knob. It was unlocked. I pushed the door open to a scene that sent a spike of ice-cold dread through my veins. Chloe was slumped on the floor, leaning against the tub, her face pale and beaded with sweat. Her breathing was shallow, ragged. "Whoa, whoa, hey!" I rushed to her side, dropping to my knees. "What is it? What's wrong?" "My stomach," she gasped, clutching her midsection. "It's cramping. Badly. And I feel dizzy." My mind started racing. The scallops? No, I'd bought them fresh this morning. The steak? It was cooked perfectly medium rare, just how she liked it. Food poisoning? Could it hit this fast? It had only been 20 minutes since we finished eating. Okay. Just breathe," I said, trying to keep my own voice from shaking. I helped her to her feet, her arm draped over my shoulder. She was almost dead weight. I half carried, half dragged her to the couch and gently laid her down. Her skin was clammy to the touch. "I feel cold," she whispered, her eyes fluttering. That was it. My brain switched from confused boyfriend to full-on crisis mode. This was more than just a bad reaction to dinner. "All right, that's it. We're going to the hospital. Right now." I grabbed my keys from the hook by the door and my wallet from the counter, my hands trembling slightly. Outside, a storm that had been threatening all evening finally broke. Rain began lashing against the windows, and a low rumble of thunder echoed in the distance. Great. Just perfect. "No, Mark, just give it a minute," Chloe murmured from the couch, her voice barely audible. "It'll pass." "I'm not taking that chance," I said, my tone firm, leaving no room for argument. I scooped her up in my arms. She felt terrifyingly light. "You're shivering and you can barely keep your eyes open. We're going." I carried her to the front door, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. I juggled her weight, trying to get the key in the deadbolt. My fingers were clumsy, shaking too much to get the key to seat properly. The rain was a deafening roar now, hammering on the roof. "Hang in there, I'll get you to the hospital," I told her, finally getting the key to turn. I reached for the doorknob, ready to brave the storm and get her the help she needed. But then her hand, which had been limp against my chest, shot out and grabbed my wrist. Her grip was surprisingly strong, like a vice. I looked down at her, confused. Her eyes were wide open now, and the hazy, pained look was gone. It was replaced by something else, something I'd never seen before. Fear, pure, stark terror. "Don't," she rasped, her voice a low, urgent hiss that cut through the sound of the storm. "Don't open that door." I stared down at her, my mind a blank wall of confusion. Her fingers were digging into my wrist, a desperate, frantic strength that didn't match the frail woman I was holding just moments before. The storm raged outside, a chaotic soundtrack to the sudden insanity that had erupted in my hallway. "Chloe, what are you talking about?" I tried to pry her fingers off, but they were locked tight. "Let go of me! You're sick! You need a doctor!" "No," she sobbed, shaking her head, her eyes wide and wild. "No hospital. He's out there, Mark. He's waiting." The words didn't compute. "He? Who's he? Honey, you're delirious. Your fever is making you see things." I was trying to soothe her, but my own panic was starting to curdle into a different kind of fear. This wasn't just an illness, this was something else. I managed to get the door shut and relocked, then half-carried her back to the couch. She curled into a ball, shivering, but her eyes never left the front door, as if she expected it to splinter open at any moment. I knelt in front of her. "Chloe, you have to talk to me. Who is out there?" "The man," she whispered, her voice cracking. "At the restaurant." "What restaurant?" I asked, my confusion deepening. "We haven't been to a restaurant in weeks. I cooked tonight, remember?" She shook her head, burying her face in a cushion. "No, not tonight. Last week, when I met Sarah for lunch. There was a man sitting alone. He just stared." My heart sank. This was worse than I thought. A fever dream, a hallucination brought on by whatever was making her so violently ill. "Okay, honey, okay, it was just a guy at a restaurant. He's not here now. It's a storm. Nobody's out in this." I stood up, my resolve hardening. Delirious or not, she needed medical attention. I started walking toward the door again. "He followed me home that day," she cried out, her voice sharp with terror. "I saw his car behind me. I thought I was being paranoid. I didn't want to tell you and sound crazy. But when I went to pick up the wine for tonight, I saw the same car parked at the end of the street. I panicked, Mark. I came right home. I think he saw me." My hand froze on the doorknob. It still sounded like paranoia, a story stitched together by a feverish mind. But the conviction in her voice, the sheer primal terror, it made the hairs on my arms stand up. "Stay here," I said, my voice low. "Don't move." I crept to the living room window, the one that looked out onto the street. Rain was coming down in sheets, blurring the world outside into a watercolor mess of dark, shifting shapes. The wind howled, rattling the glass in its frame. I pressed my face close, peering through the deluge, my heart thudding in my chest. I scanned the street, my eyes tracing the empty curb where she said she'd seen a car. Nothing. Just the rain, the swaying trees, and the dark, empty windows of my neighbors' houses. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. It was nothing. She was sick. Her mind was playing tricks on her. I was about to turn to go back to her and tell her everything was fine, that we were safe. And then it came. A colossal fork of lightning that split the sky, turning night into a bleached, stark daylight for a single, silent second. In that brief, silent eternity, the world outside was frozen in perfect clarity. And I saw it. It wasn't a person I saw. It was a car. A dark sedan parked across the street, almost hidden by the neighbor's overgrown oak tree. It was turned off. No lights, a ghost in the storm. It was parked in the one spot on the street that was invisible from this window, under the normal glow of the streetlights. You could only see it with a flash of lightning like that. And in that one frozen moment, I saw it. A glint of light from the driver's side window. Not a reflection of the lightning. It was smaller, more focused, the unmistakable glint of a lens. My blood ran cold. The air left my lungs. She wasn't delirious. She wasn't paranoid. Someone was out there, watching us. I stumbled back from the window, my mind reeling. The sickness, the timing of it, right when we were about to leave. Was it a coincidence? Or was it intentional? I looked at Chloe, huddled on the couch, her face pale with a terror I now understood completely. I pulled my phone from my pocket, my thumb shaking as I unlocked it. Forget the hospital, this was a 911 call. This was a police matter. My thumb hovered over the emergency call icon, but before I could press it, my phone buzzed in my hand. A notification lit up the screen, a text message from an unknown number. My heart stopped. With a sense of sickening dread, I opened it. There were no words, just a photo. It was a picture of me, taken through the window just seconds ago. My face was illuminated by the screen of my own phone, my expression a mask of dawning horror. And below the picture, 3 words appeared in a new message. Don't call them. The phone felt like a block of ice in my hand. The picture on the screen was a perfect mirror of my own terror. The low angle, the slight distortion from shooting through the rain-streaked glass. He was close. So close. I looked over at Chloe, whose eyes were locked on me, her expression asking the question I was screaming inside my own head. What do we do now? Don't call them. It wasn't a request. It was a command, a threat. If he knew I was about to call for help, he was watching everything, listening. My mind raced, trying to connect the dots. The sickness, the man at the restaurant, the car outside. Chloe hadn't been followed. She'd been targeted, and her sudden illness. It wasn't food poisoning. I looked back at the remains of our anniversary dinner on the table. The wine. She'd said she picked up the wine today. Had he tampered with it? No, that didn't make sense. How would he know which bottle she'd buy? Then it hit me, a sickening wave of realization. It wasn't the wine, it was the scallops. I had bought them fresh this morning. The fishmonger. Was he the man she'd seen at the restaurant? Did he somehow switch my package? No, that was too convoluted. The simplest answer was usually the right one, and the simplest answer was that someone had been in our house. My gaze snapped to the back door in the kitchen. I always kept it locked, but how hard would it be for a professional to get past it? He could have come in while I was at work, while Chloe was out getting the wine. He could have poisoned the food I'd left prepping on the counter. He hadn't just been watching us. He'd been in our home. My home. He had violated our safest space, and now he was outside pulling the strings. The phone buzzed again. Another message. She needs a doctor. I am the doctor. I felt a surge of pure, unadulterated rage. This monster had poisoned my wife and was now offering himself as the cure. It was a trap. A sick, twisted game. Let him in, and we were both dead. Don't let him in, and Chloe. I looked at her. Her breathing was getting more shallow, a faint bluish tint coloring her lips. We were out of time. He had us cornered perfectly. Call the police, and who knows what he'd do. Wait for them to arrive, and Chloe might already be gone. Mark? She whispered, her voice weak. What does he want? He wants in, I said, my voice grim. He thinks he has us. But he was wrong. He'd made one critical miscalculation. He thought I was just a terrified husband. He didn't know I'd spent 6 years as an Army combat medic. He didn't know that my hang in there, I'll get you to the hospital wasn't just a comfort. It was a promise I knew how to keep. Okay, I said, my voice suddenly calm. Clear, I typed a reply. The back door is unlocked, come in. But if she dies, you die too. Chloe's eyes widened. Mark, no! Trust me, I whispered, putting a finger to my lips. I hit send. Then I sprinted into action. I grabbed the biggest, heaviest cast iron skillet from the kitchen. I moved to the side of the back door, pressing my back flat against the wall, out of sight. I held the pan up, my knuckles white, my heart a steady, cold drumbeat. Fear was gone, replaced by ice. I listened. Over the roar of the storm, I heard it. A faint click as the back doorknob turned. The door swung open slowly, a dark figure silhouetted against the raging storm outside. He was dressed in dark clothing, a nondescript man I didn't recognize. He stepped inside, closing the door quietly behind him. He held a small medical bag in one hand. His eyes scanned the kitchen, then moved toward the living room, searching for us. He took 2 steps past my hiding spot, and that was his last mistake. I swung the skillet with every ounce of strength I had. The sound of solid iron connecting with a human skull is a sickening, final thud. He crumpled to the floor without a sound, his medical bag clattering beside him. I didn't wait to check if he was breathing. I was on him in an instant, rifling through the bag. My hands, trained by years of battlefield chaos, moved with purpose. I found it almost immediately, a syringe filled with a clear liquid, the antidote. Of course he'd have it. It was part of his sadistic game. I raced to Chloe's side. Her eyes were barely open. "Mark." "It's okay, baby. It's okay," I murmured, my voice shaking with adrenaline. I ripped open an alcohol swab from the kit, prepped a spot on her arm, and administered the injection. "Just hold on, I've got you." I held her, watching, praying. For a full minute, nothing happened. Then, slowly, agonizingly, I saw the color start to return to her cheeks. Her breathing deepened, lost its ragged edge. A few minutes later, her eyes focused on mine, the fear finally receding, replaced by exhaustion and disbelief. The storm outside began to subside, its fury spent. The only sound was our breathing, mingled with the soft dripping of rain from the eaves. I picked up my phone. The screen was still on, showing the photo he'd sent, my face a mask of terror. I looked at the man lying unconscious on my kitchen floor, then back at the woman I loved, safe in my arms. I deleted the photo, deleted the messages, and finally, my thumb steady and sure, I pressed the numbers 911. He wanted to play doctor. Now he was about to meet some real ones, followed by some very real police officers.